Told you I'm not dead. Death Metal Pug is next. Welcome back to Death Metal Pug. I'm the Devil Wears Pug. The purpose of this is to have fun and talk about music. If for some reason we can help out your band, project, or business, please reach out to us at deathmetalpug@gmail.com. Are you interested in being a voice on Death Metal Pug? You moron! Go ahead and reach out though. I'd like to thank Attila Caesar for being on last week's episode. Oh my gosh, Ace Frehley passed away. I'm not, a giant Kiss fan, where I've been to like 1,000 concerts or own a pinball machine or anything crazy like that. But I did, of course, listen to some Kiss growing up. Here's a Kiss cassette tape. This would be the original one. What year is this? 1994, it says on it. Hotter Than Hell, right here. We got this one going. So this is the original tape, just basically before I had CDs, right? Double platinum. So I would have probably grabbed these, because it would have had all the rest of the songs on it, the hit songs. Look at that, the old school white cassette tape there, huh? That's all right. I did get to see Kiss in July 12th, 1996. I hope that shows up. Can you all see that? We'll make that to where it works, or probably put a picture or something. July 1996. So I wasn't like actively listening to Kiss, but it was kind of a big deal. I think it was their return to makeup comeback kind of tour, or one of the comeback tours that Kiss does, or something like that. They always, every tour is a comeback tour maybe now. But I went to see him in 1996, had a good time. It was at a big arena. I went with a friend of mine. I believe we were on the floor, or we got down to the floor. This is Upper Bowl is the $29 ticket that was purchased, $29.25, which probably means, with all the fees and stuff, it costs more. But yeah, we definitely got down to the floor. That was a nice time. The Kiss songs are, just kind of, bubblegum, memorable, good music, but they do have a consistent gateway band into a lot of other stuff. I remember as a kid, right, in middle school, it would have been like, 6th grade or something like that, and there was a bit of a mystery around Kiss. I don't know, Kiss, the name, right? Kiss, the band name, Kiss. Isn't that the probably least tough guy band name you could ever come up with? So we're like, in middle school, it's like Kiss, Kiss. It means knights in Satan's service. And just like stuff like that, making it kind of scarier. Obviously, Gene Simmons with the giant tongue and his blood coming out and flames out of the guitar. Just really good show persons, if you will. And this is kind of my dabbling in Kiss kind of stuff. That is in 1996, that is the only Kiss concert I've been to. I don't think I've ever actually bought a Kiss CD or album or anything. Sanguisugabogg released Hideous Aftermath October 10th, 2025. A bit of an album cover change here, opting for the burnt marshmallow on the cover of this new one. This album actually seems like it was thought through a bit. You can tell as song 2 blends into song 3 really, really well. And even if you're into the Bog or not, we should all get behind bands that have some notoriety in the death metal realm. It's hard to you know, like every band, or sometimes even the most like popular bands that might represent like a certain genre. But these, you know, recognizable things, you know, make it a recognizable symbol for us, and something to like kind of rally around. So while you're like, hey, it's not the most technical, it doesn't feel like my particular niche or what I want out of stuff, it's not my favorite. I think when there's something that we can all rally around, it legitimizes our music, and helps then bring others to it, right? There's like an introductory band to it. Sanguisugabogg have always had a knack for like online or social media presence, as I understand it. Even myself, who I don't really have much in the way of like social media, I've seen like kind of the funny ways that they've applied their logo onto certain things. I think it might even come up on merchandise and stuff. The funniest one I can remember in recent memory is when they replaced Dale Earnhardt's mustache with their logo in black on it. I think that actually got them into some hot water. Sanguisugabogg's first EP titled Pornographic Seizures is just dripping and slime, and it's just a gnarly album. The song Turkish Blood Orgy is a 10 out of 10 song and just has like a grimy feel to it, and it's just such a great, wonderful listen. That remains my favorite thing they've done. If you were into heavy music when their first album came out, I think it's pretty unavoidable to avoid their album Tortured Whole. Now that's Whole spelled W-H-O-L-E, featuring their most famous track, Dead as Shit. This zombie rising from the ground eating brain track has so much reverb dripping onto a simple riff and rhythm that just pounds. This is an incredibly fun song to listen to. Most of this album's best tracks are prior to this one, track 5. On the album. The rest of the album on the back half is a little bit samey, but like the second album, Homicidal Ecstasy, this new album features plentiful drum work that is pretty upfront and apparent. I think the best actual musician in this band is probably the drummer. Now on the second album, I think he produced it or made something about it, or something was much more involved, and you could really kind of tell because like the drums were crazy on that thing, just popping out and stuff. The first album, Tortured Whole, was allegedly recorded while the band was on acid, or I'll say at least on drugs or something. And you know, he created those silly lyrics on it, the silly tones, the silly song titles, but it had a rhythm, it had a certain flow to the songs that just kind of worked. And you know, so while album 2 probably technically overall better, it lacked like a memorability to it. I think it came out in 2023, and I remember listening to that album a lot. Like I was into it, but I found myself with some distance. I struggled to like kind of recall like certain standout moments, parts, or songs from that album. You know, like even now here today, I don't know if I could point to a particular song on that album or track that would like be built out into kind of like a best playlist, you know. And I definitely, you know, kind of remember some of them. You know, if I'm wrong, you know, feel free to like keep it to yourself. But what is weird about Homicidal Ecstasy? Well, I never really reach for it, I never really go for it, I never really like you know, pull it out very frequently. Every time I hear it, like I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Now, Hideous Aftermath, this new one, features quite the list of current metal vocalists added to it or in support on different songs. Very relevant vocalists, in my opinion, at this point. There are many guest vocalists on this album, and it feels like they may have been like recorded their parts separately. So as there's not a lot of like crossover or back and forth with the vocalists on the song, it's almost like it has designated sections or like moments for the other vocalist on it. Now I have no way of knowing if they actually did that or not, or you know, but you know, I think of the track, like the last track on the album, and it's the Full of Hell guy. So it's basically like there's a song before like he jumps in, and then there's like a 3-minute song, and then he comes in, and then there's like the rest of the 5 minutes of the song like this on this 8-minute track. In total, the Peeling Flesh vocalist, it seems like it was tacked on for like a verse as well, but I gotta tell you, like, all of it really works nicely. It sounds really good, actually. The Nails guy's on this, Travis from Cattle Decapitation, Dylan is a Full of Hell guy, Dimitri is the Peeling Flesh vocalist. You know, everyone stepped up to be on this album, kind of pointing to my comments earlier about rallying behind like a certain band or something. I mean, each of these vocalists are in bands that have some notoriety to them in extreme music. I think objectively, Travis's voice will be talked about, but it's for a lot of people. But for me on this song, it's the different riffing at the start of it that caught my attention. Almost like black metal, panic chord riffing, open note, kind of right before the Travis part, almost in a way that Cattle does it, I think, a little sometimes, leading up to his voice popping in. But it's different than other Bogg albums, is why I pointed out, right? And yeah, I mean, man, protein shake for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Devin Swank's vocals seem more articulated this time, but he still, does keep like kind of like a deep one-note growl. It's just a little bit more upfront, if you will. It's a very deep guttural vocal style on this album, but not like a total like Cookie Monster or anything like that. On the song Ritual, we get to hear like the menstrual envy bellow that he does at the start of that song and during the latter half of the Ritual song. It's just kind of like a cool moment in the song, and I don't think he's used that enough in the music, right? Historically, across the album since, more of that will be more fun. The drums are funny at times with those little like cymbal ads and things. Like they hit those little like bell things and stuff. He's got those little tings and stuff, and those little tiny cymbal smacks are just like a cool, fun thing, and add like detail to the song, and it's really appreciated. We can talk about the industrial track or whatever you want to call it, but honestly, it sounds cool, right? Just, does it fit into the band's style historically? No, it does not. It does not, but it is an interesting song. And it's executed very, very well, and is easy to listen to on like repeated listens. Also, if you listen to it on different speakers, it sounds a little different. Earbuds versus like my car versus like stuff at home. The song sounds different, and it really is something that can be repeated, and it's kind of fun. We actually made a little video repeating a part of it just to have a good time and kind of help support the band, and really that's all we're trying to do here, just have camaraderie around groups and this kind of stuff. I mean, it sounds, that song, right? It sounds a little bit better than like some of the interludes they've done in the past. And this is where the phrase hideous aftermath appears within at least this section, within this particular song. So the title of the album is, those words are used in this song. After a while, I found myself now starting the album from this track and letting it play back through to it. So give that a shot. I don't know. This industrial track though, it does like set up the next nasty opening riff on the following song, Erotic Beheading. I have not read the lyrics to that song because history has taught me with Sanguisugabogg, such as the song Dragged by a Truck, they do not work in metaphors and keep things at face ripped off value, so no need to dip into that. And I am really enjoying this album. It's a legit death metal album, and it's gotten rid of the nods to like humor or childlessness, or at least I can't tell that they're noticeable or anything on this one. Check out Sanguisugabogg's new album, Hideous Aftermath. I'm gonna go see them in November. Speaking of pingy snares, Corpse Power released a new EP titled In the Beginning, October 3rd, 2025. My main experience with Corpse Pile has been their album, their Holly Jolly Hardcore album. This is a Christmas album featuring many hits such as Terror of the Bells, which is a down-tuned guitar basically doing verbatim Carol of the Bells. Boom, doo, doo, doo. It is both awesome and embarrassing. I did listen to the new EP titled In the Beginning. It's basically a very pingy snare with so much bass backing the guitars and all the instruments. It makes it almost unlistenable depending on what you're trying to listen to it on. It's just speaker blowing bass, very big. I will note it has some charm to it, and it sounds better in headphones because it'll like take that really woofy kind of thumpy trunk noise out of it, I guess, a little bit better. 6 tracks, 15 minutes. The song Vengeful Hymns might be the only real song on the album though. Corpse Pile playthrough. Krigsgrav released Stormcaller September 19th, 2025. A little bit of history. Krigsgrav was formed in 2004. Per hasty research, but my only music app only goes back to an album in 2016. Krigsgrav is Swedish, roughly translating to Skittle Farts. Wargrave was originally led by David D. Sikora. Is that a typo? Early on, it was more of a two-man project. Justin Coleman emerges later as a mainstay. It's a 4-piece nowadays. Krigsgrav's genre, it started rooted in black metal, but over time they incorporated elements of atmospheric metal, melodic, death, doom, and like post black metal as well, I would say. So you kind of get what we're all mixing up in this thing, I hope. I got into them with the last album, actually, Fires in the Fall. It was released in June of 2023 by Wise Blood Records. Difficult, like I was saying or alluding to cite a particular subgenre. Busy music, influences with like all kinds of like metal, I would say, Black Death, like European style metal is the vibe I get. Blackened, melodic, doom metal, like whatever the fuck you want to add here kind of thing. A little bit of reference points, maybe Necrofire. Fires in the Distance, big like mixed, European, dare I say, like Swedish sound to them. Dodritz vibes. I was Fellation Dodritz in that video a while back. You should watch that video because like no one else did, European sound. What country are they from? This near Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas band throws off European vibes. I like the Fires in the Fall album a few years ago. 2 really good songs on that album that you should check out. The song Black Oak is a sneaky cool song, as it sounds kind of basic maybe the first time you hear it, but if you really listen to it, you will hear the complex way in which it is put together, and it's really kind of neat. The other song to check out is When I'm Gone, Let the Wolves Come In. When the chorus is sung, it is cool. It is like, I give an F, come on in here and eat me up, F it. It's kind of cool. Fires in the Fall had more sad overtones than the new album, I would say. I felt more chorus-filled sad guitars on that one is what I would kind of, I guess is what I would kind of say. The new album, Stormcaller, came out in September, and for some reason my phone that like creepily tracks like every single thing I do. It didn't alert me to this new album, and I don't recall like how I came across it, but I was like, oh, rock on. Like I think I remember like it would be time for them to come out, but it's like, you know, tough to like kind of keep track of, I guess. And I was like, all right, it's out. This album also, lots of monstrous vocals layered on the first track with a guest named Jens Ryden. I had to look up who that was. So he's in a few bands. He's from Sweden and a photographer. Told you they were Swedish. Overall, vocals just seem more upfront on this one to me. Sometimes it runs those melodic lines over like faster moving stuff, and when you hear it, you'll kind of get what I'm saying. I'd say this new one is a little bit more epic than the last one, where the last one was dripped in more of like a hazy, smoke-filled mix. But Stormcaller, this one's got the guitars popping out more and a little bit show-offier more with it. There's actually some clean singing on this album, which is limited and not too bad, I guess I'll say. Not a dramatically different style or anything from Fires in the Fall, in my opinion. This album seems cleaner in a sense that the atmospheric haze is a little less on this one, I guess I'll say. A hair brighter with more focus like on the guitars and a hair less on atmosphere. The last track might be the standout track on this album. It's titled Womb, Death, Dawn. You're the one that typed the word colon, dude. Womb, Death, Dawn is like 8.5 minutes and a little different from the other tracks. The last 4 minutes of the song just rips into it with more chugs and double kicks than the tremolos on this one. The title track, Stormcaller, was selected for a reason. It is big and epic. The song right after it, Twilight Fell, is monumentous as well. Some strings in there, I think, on that one. A big guitar solo orchestrated over many guitars halfway through the song. It varies between like 3/3 and 4/4 time, I think. My favorite one on this one so far, the one I basically like seem to like take note of, like each time the track comes up, is track 5, Bay of the Bargrist. It's just got such a mood to it. The sweet solo in the middle of it sets up the end of the melancholy gory that is this song, with cymbals crashing down to just like help end the song. It almost like it gave me like those awesome, I love Don Treader, and it gave me those like Don Treader tremolos that are both like happy and sad at the same time somehow. The song after, The Tonic of the Wilderness, was the one that reminds me of most of Krigsgrav's last album, Fires in the Fall, in like how the guitars and the overall construction are done on that album. Check out Krigsgrave's new album, Stormcaller. Questions keep coming up on Jeremy. I think his favorite beverage is Busch Light. He is about my age. No, I do not know what his favorite Pokemon card is. I do not know how many shirts he has, but it is a lot. Today's shirt, Jeremy's shirt, is very fitting, as we're basically like more than halfway done with the harvest here in Illinois. I did some travel recently, and coming back, I just saw how like a lot of the fields were in the process or done with being harvested, the corn and soybeans that we grow in Illinois. The band on his shirt is One Body, Six Graves. According to Jeremy, they opened on the Levidity album release taking place at a bake shop in Rockford. This badass shirt features a Grim Reaper riding a combine while it belches out skull-shaped smoke from the exhaust. I would have purchased this as well. Another interesting antidote is bottles of Busch Light were $1.50 at the show that night. Jeremy barfed in the parking lot. Jeremy shirts! It's amazing that you've made it this far. Tribal Gaze released in Unveiling Brilliance October 17th, 2025. I like the first few songs off of 2022's album, The Nine Choirs. It was one of my most listened to albums towards the latter half of that year. 2022. The first 2-3 songs on that thing are super cool in my opinion. The album kind of gets a little like similar from the front half on the back half of it. Death metal, new wave of old school death metal or whatever, lumped into the Frozen Soul, Power Trip, Mammoth Grinder, Texas lot. Probably because, you know, Texas and they're from Texas. I did not care for the songs they did on last year's split. They seem like underbaked ideas to me. Maybe it's like leftover stuff from this. That could be. I hadn't actually thought of that until right now. The new album, Unveiling Brilliance, which I guess means speak or write about something with great hostility in an excellent manner or way. This smartly complaining album is 10 tracks, 31 minutes, groovy, riffy. Drums add texture, not a band big on solos, more like, you know, riffy and stuff. I'd like to see it live for maximum of impact. I have not seen them live, but sometimes the albums come off a little, we've heard this in the background before, shouldn't be much complaints from folks though, so like, hey, nothing really gonna put you off here, but you know, you've probably heard kind of stuff like this before. The first song starts off with a drum fill, like open, riffy, down-tuned guitars and a guttural growl. You kind of think it's an intro at first, but then like the vocals jump in. The whole thing is like less than 2 minutes, and then it just kind of ends. The second song has a bit more of an atmospheric opening, while you know, it's not you know, it's I was like, wait, is that? It didn't really strike me as necessary because, like, it's the second song, you know, to have that. The song is slower at the open with but it does have a big like, wow, that's kind of cool in it. I like the start of the song, guarding the illusion, with the drum pops firing it off in an old school extreme metal kind of way, so check that one out. To the Spoils of Faith ends in a very cool, like, riffy way. I like the album overall. You know, the riffs are like varied on it, the pacing kind of varies on it, better than their last album, the Nine Choirs album. I didn't read through the lyrics or anything, but it feels like kind of like the old God is Bad kind of type of song, if you will. It's got that crystal clear death metal with reverb kind of sound. Not much in the way of solos. The one on the final song, Lord of Blasphemy, quite frankly needs work and could have been a little more inspired. That song ends the album, and then there's a pause, and it goes into like a tribal rhythm, and then it blends right into a drum solo, like a full-on drum solo performance. I like it. I was just like kind of surprised it was there. Maybe I'm missing the technical prowess of the drumming throughout the album. It does kind of set up the restart of the album though, again, you know, to kick it off again, in you know, a neat way. That's can always, you know, if you can make the album like replay, that's a smart move. The drummer is kind of show-offy on this album now that I think about it. The instrumental track is basically a drum solo as well on this thing. Did they change drummer since the last full length? If they didn't, this performance became inspired. I'd love to see the band like come across a little bit more unhinged on the album, like unhinged, like moments, like level up the ferocity. Maybe that comes like across a little better like live, maybe they're doing it and stuff, but it just a little more breathable moments to be like F yeah during a scream or something, like in a pause or chug or something. I commend the vocalist for like letting the instruments come through instead of like, you know, barfing across the album the whole time. I think more groups should kind of do that, let the instruments, you know, take center stage more. You could probably shuffle these songs on this album and not really mess up how it flows, you know, all that much. It's hard to identify like a big banger hit from this right here on the first few listens. It almost needs like a standout track or moment or something. Most of the songs are like linear, where sections are not really like repeated that much. They have that great like little like that they use on the last album as well in sections of this, and it's great. The first few listens when I heard it, the stands out to me are Guarding the Illusion with its drums and riffs, pause, then moving to like a thrashy riff section with a solo, and you know, the album doesn't really like have a dip or an off-putting song or anything to it, to be honest with you. Check out Tribal Gaze's Unveiling Brilliance. Take a peek at the band Wretched too. We didn't have much time to put much thought into it yet, but it's worth the listen. That's it! The Metal Bowl!